Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It's our second lecture of social studies related to geography for class 8th. Second lecture is also related to chapter number 1 and the name of the chapter is maps and diagrams. In our previous chapter we have learned about the maps and in this chapter today we are going to discuss about the diagrams. Before starting the lecture, we are going to have a look upon learning outcomes, and after this lecture, inshallah, students will be able to discuss the use of diagrams to show statistical data. They would be able to explain techniques to draw different diagrams, and inshallah, they will be able to construct line graph, bar graph, and pie graph if they have some statistical data. Evaluate merits and demerits of the diagrams. So have a small recap of previous lecture number 1, as I have already said that in our previous lecture we have discussed about the definition of the maps and importance of the maps and types of different maps, for example atlas, cadastral and topographical and distribution maps, and administrative, weather, road map, physical maps, etc. And today we are going to discuss about the methods of showing statistical data while studying geography. As it has different types, we may have a lot of statistical data, and in a scattered form, it may be in a scattered form, and in a scattered form we can't get it in its real sense, in its letter and spirit, so we must do something to arrange it or to make it in a systematical way so that we can get it in a better way. So we can say in geography, diagrams are those conceptual sketches through which geographic information and data is transferred to the paper. These are called statistical diagrams. These are line graph, bar graph, pie graph. First of all, we are going to discuss about line graph. As its name shows, in this diagram, statistical data is displayed with the help of a line on the graph. Therefore, it is known as line graph. In this graph, two variables are discussed, one as a variable quantity and other as a constant. Here in front of you is a line graph which is going to show you the monthly temperature of Lahore. There are two lines. Pink line is going to show you the maximum temperature and its fluctuation from January to December individually, and you can see its rise and fall during different months, and the blue line as well is going to show you the minimum temperatures of these months. So to construct a line graph, two lines are drawn that bisect normally at each other at 90 degrees. At 90 degrees, two lines are drawn. Constant variables are almost on x-axis, that is horizontal axis, horizontal line, and constant variables are always here, for example days, months, years, kilometers and kilograms, etc. Whereas measurable variables are placed on vertical axis, that is known as y-axis, and they may be rainfall, temperature, air pressure, or different productions, etc. To measure the values at vertical axis, that is y-axis, an appropriate scale is determined, and it is predetermined. With the help of scale, values are marked in the form of dots for each constant variable. Then these dots are joined by a line to prepare a line graph. Merits of line graph. With the help of line graph, more than one variable can be compared easily. For example, we can compare the annual temperatures and rainfall values of different cities at one graph. Line graph is the best way to show decrease or increase in annual, monthly, or daily production of various items. Besides this, line graph is also used to show weather conditions, population, production of any phenomena, distribution of animals, crops, population, etc., export and imports of a country or a region, etc. On line graph, we can easily understand the fluctuations as well as the production of items. Along with merits, there are some demerits of line graph as well. We can show average quantities on line graph. Average quantities may be about annual rainfall or temperature, etc. But we can't show the percentages. We cannot show the total quantity of anything with the help of line graph. Similarly, we can show the annual or monthly change of population of any country or city on this graph, but we cannot represent the population of all cities on it. The second number of graph is bar graph that we are going to discuss today. In these days, bar graph is widely used in study of geography. In this graph, we show quantities in the form of bars of equal width on equal intervals. The height of the bar varies with the quantity. Bars can be drawn both vertically and horizontally. Here is an example of bar graph, and its bars are vertical. You can draw these bars horizontally as well. Also the graph, all the graphs have y-axis and x-axis. Mostly x-axis is constant and y-axis is variable. This method is very useful for comparison of different quantities. For example, if we have to get some different comparisons about the population of big cities of Pakistan, or the length of canals, or marks of students in a subject, imports and exports of country, areas and production, etc., we can show all such type of things easily with the help of bar graph. We can also shade and color the bars, and with the help of different colors we show different phenomena as well on the same graph. Merits of bar graph. The total quantity or production of any item can be shown on the bar graph. We can also compare different quantities of the same item. The best feature of this graph is that we can easily show quantities on this graph. It has also some demerits. To show more than one item or quantity, we have to draw multiple bars or a compound bar. It is possible to show value of only one item on the bar graph. The third type of graph is pie graph. Sometimes geographical data is displayed in the form of circles. This is called pie graph. And you know, a circle is of having 360 degrees. In pie graph 360, angles of a circle are divided into different sectors with the help of a formula. These sectors are given different colors. Here is an example of a pie graph, and this pie graph is about the students scoring grades in annual examination, and data is given in a box, and it has been shown in a round circle where the percentages are given. Merits of pie graph. Pie graphs are most suitable for showing percentages and total quantities. Pie graph covers less space as compared to line and bar graphs. It presents a better comparison between different quantities. And in a first look, you can notice all these comparisons clearly. It shows the areas of different countries in a better way, which is not possible on line and bar graphs. Pie graph is preferred to show production of power resources, for example, electricity or gas. Demerits of pie graph. Pie graph is suitable to represent population of countries, areas and production, etc., and don't cover a wide range. It is not suitable to show weather data, for example, distribution of temperature, rainfall and wind pressure, etc., is hard to show with the help of pie graph. Calculations of percentages and division of circles into sectors is comparatively difficult and time consuming, because there is a need of a formula to divide different sectors or divide the circle into different portions. Summary of the lecture. In geography, statistical data displayed with the help of a line is called a line graph. Today in this lecture we have studied about the graphs, and the first one was line graph. Two variables are discussed on line graph. The total quantity or production of any item is shown on a bar graph. In bar graph, different quantities are shown with the help of bars with equal width. Home assignment. Hopefully, student, you have read the chapter number 1, and today it's your home task. You have to read the chapter carefully from page number 1 to 8, so that what we have discussed in this lecture you may get it in a better way, and you would be able to write short and detailed answers of the questions given in the exercise at the end of the chapter. Thank you. Allah bless you.